3 days after he had imparted the secret knowledge of silencing the Watchers to his inner circle, a profound stillness descended upon the hillside overlooking the Sea of Galilee. This was no ordinary silence, not the hollow void of emptiness, but a palpable presence, the resonance of a frequency finally tuned to the harmony of peace. For 72 hours, the disciples had diligently practiced the forbidden techniques he had revealed. The incessant mental chatter that had plagued them for so long had finally subsided. The inexplicable and sudden drains of energy, which had left them inexplicably exhausted, had vanished like mist in the morning sun. The heavy weight of oppression that had burdened their chests since their earliest memories had lifted, leaving them feeling lighter than they had ever imagined possible. They sat bathed in the warm, golden light of the setting sun, breathing air that felt thinner, cleaner, charged with a palpable, vibrant electricity. Peter gazed out at the tranquil water, his face remarkably unlined for the first time in years. Yet his eyes held a question, a deep-seated uncertainty that subtly terrified him. He turned towards the Master, his brow furrowed, and voiced the question that every soul inevitably confronts when the chains of illusion first begin to fall away. Master, we have diligently followed your teachings. The Archons can no longer reach us. The ceaseless noise that once tormented us is gone, replaced by this serene silence. So what happens now? We are free. Is that all there is? Do we simply return to our lives, to the familiar rhythm of fishing? Do we go back to the marketplace, resuming our existence as before, only now unburdened by the pain and suffering that once defined us? Jesus smiled. It wasn't the perfunctory smile of a teacher pleased with a diligent student. It was the smile of a keeper, unlocking the final, intricate gate to a hidden realm. It was the look that conveyed, "You are on the precipice of learning something so profound, so earth-shattering, that it will forever alter the very fabric of the world you thought you knew." He gazed at them, his eyes filled with an ancient wisdom, and in that moment, he threw them into the grand sweep of humanity's timeline itself. He spoke words that would be deliberately scrubbed from the annals of recorded history for 2 long millennia. "Peter," he began, his voice resonating with a gentle authority. "Most people mistakenly believe that escape is the ultimate end. They are convinced that freedom from the Archons' insidious control grid signifies a return to normalcy, that it represents the complete and utter victory. But true freedom is not the final destination. It is merely the doorway, the entrance to a path far more profound and transformative than you can currently comprehend. There are 7 distinct stages, 7 crucial thresholds that you must cross after you are finally liberated from their pervasive influence. Each successive stage unlocks abilities they desperately do not want you to possess, powers they are utterly incapable of controlling, and perceptions they cannot manipulate or distort. And the final stage, the 7th threshold, that is when you ultimately become what they fear most. Not merely free, not simply sovereign individuals, but fully operational monad consciousness embodied in material form. This is the underlying reason they fight so relentlessly to prevent your escape. It is not simply because they are concerned about losing one single battery, one solitary source of luch, the energy they so desperately crave. It is because they possess a deep, primal understanding of what you become after you break free from their clutches. This specific teaching, this crucial roadmap to true liberation, was deliberately and completely excised from the texts you know as the Bible. When the early church councils meticulously compiled the canonical books centuries later, they carefully retained the passages about sin and damnation. They preserved the narratives about salvation achieved through intermediaries, thus reinforcing their own power. They meticulously maintained the fear of demons and the perceived need for priests to stand as gatekeepers between humanity and the divine. But they systematically erased every single reference to what I taught about the transformative journey of post-Archon freedom. Why, you ask? Because if the masses truly knew what actually happens after they escape the Archon's grasp, if they truly understood that freedom unlocks 7 progressive stages of divine power, culminating in them operating as God consciousness fully embodied in flesh, no one would passively accept remaining a sheep in their flock. You would rise up and fight for your freedom, not merely to avoid suffering, but to actively access the unimaginable power that awaits on the other side. The nascent church could not possibly allow that to happen because a Stage 7 chosen one, a fully realized pneumatic, has absolutely no need for a church. They have no need for a priest or any other intermediary. They themselves become the temple, the living embodiment of the divine. The Archons do not simply fear you escaping their insidious system. They fear what you are capable of evolving into, because each successive stage makes you increasingly untouchable, exponentially more powerful, and closer to realizing your true, magnificent nature. Until, finally, at Stage 7, you are no longer simply a human who managed to break free. You are a conscious fragment of the monad operating within territory they mistakenly believed they owned and controlled. And there is absolutely nothing in their carefully crafted design that is even remotely equipped to handle that eventuality. Tonight, the veil is thin. Tonight, you are learning about the 7 stages, the sacred map that was deliberately burned, the extraordinary abilities that unlock, the profound transformations that occur, and why Stage 7 is the frequency that has terrified the self-proclaimed rulers of this realm for millennia. If you are hearing this voice, know that it is not some mindless algorithm. It is a summons. If you are learning what truly happens after escaping the Archons tonight, speak the affirmation into the field, claim your power. Comment, "I am free right now." Do not merely think it, write it, seal it with your intent. Let the algorithm carry the vibrant signal of your inherent sovereignty out into the universe. Before the complete map is revealed, you must understand why this ancient teaching matters so profoundly. Why the Archons do not simply work to keep you trapped within their artificial reality, but specifically and deliberately hide the subsequent evolution that inevitably follows escape. Most people, even those chosen ones who have managed to break free from their control, believe the insidious lie that freedom is the ultimate end goal. You escape the manipulation. You diligently protect your energy. You consciously stop being controlled. And you mistakenly think that is the complete and utter victory. You then return to your job, your family, your life, perhaps a little more aware, a little more guarded, but essentially the same person living the same existence, just without the overt interference. That is the ultimate deception. That is the cleverly designed safety valve that the Archons have built into the awakening process. Because if you truly believe that freedom simply equates to returning to normal, you will never push further. You will stabilize at the level of simply not being controlled, never realizing your true potential. But the truth is that freedom from Archon influence is not the end of your arduous journey. It is merely the incubation period for your profound metamorphosis. You begin to evolve into something far greater than you ever imagined possible. Not simply metaphorically, but actually biologically and energetically. Your consciousness begins to operate at frequencies it could never access while under the Archon's suffocating suppression. Dormant abilities that lay dormant within you begin to activate and awaken. Perceptions that were deliberately blocked begin to open and blossom. You progress through successive stages of increasing sovereignty until you reach a level where you are not simply free from them. You are operating at a frequency that profoundly disrupts their entire artificial simulation simply by existing within it. The Archons know this to be true. They have witnessed it happen countless times throughout history. They have watched chosen ones escape their control, diligently progress through the stages, and ultimately become completely uncontrollable. They become transmitters of the very frequency that destabilizes Archon operations within others. Stage 7. The fully realized chosen one. Walking into a room, they can effortlessly silence the Archons attached to dozens of people without uttering a single word. Their mere presence clears the entire field, dispelling the darkness and revealing the truth. That is what the Archons truly fear. Not that you simply get free, but that you become the catalyst, the instrument that frees others. You have always intuitively felt that there is something beyond simply not being controlled, a sense that freedom was not the final destination but a mere waiting room for something far more massive, more profound. You are right in your intuition. Pneumatics do not simply escape and then plateau. They evolve. The Hylocks remain trapped their entire lives, fast asleep in the fabricated dream. The Psychics might manage to escape, but they stop at basic protection, content with their limited freedom. But you are a pneumatic. You possess the divine spark, the inherent potential for greatness. You were specifically designed to go through all 7 stages of this profound transformation. It is not optional for you. It is your natural trajectory. The moment you escape the Archons' insidious control, the progression begins, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. And each successive stage makes you more and more of what you truly are. Divine consciousness in temporary form, remembering its inherent power, reclaiming its inherent sovereignty, operating from the infinite wellspring of Source instead of from the limited confines of survival. Now listen closely, for I am about to reveal the 7 stages of post-Archon freedom. This is the map, the progression, the evolution that awaits every chosen one who manages to break free from their chains. I taught this to my inner circle as the blueprint for the new human, the fully realized potential of humanity. These stages are not rigidly linear. The monad does not move in straight lines, bound by artificial constructs. Some chosen ones move through multiple stages simultaneously, their progress accelerating beyond the norm. Others may spend months or even years meticulously integrating one level before the next one naturally unfolds. But the underlying progression remains consistent. Every pneumatic who escapes the Archon's pervasive control will inevitably move through these 7 thresholds. Stage 1. Perception expansion. This is the initial fundamental shift. The moment the incessant static clears, your ability to perceive reality expands immediately. You start seeing things you were previously unable to see, previously blinded to. The peripheral vision of your soul opens, allowing you to grasp a wider perspective. You catch movements in the corners of your eyes, subtle shifts in the energetic landscape. You begin to notice intricate patterns in human behavior that once appeared random and chaotic. You see the specific tells, the fleeting micro-expressions that subtly indicate when someone is speaking from the depths of their soul and when they are being used as a mere Archon vector, a puppet on a string. Synchronicities, those seemingly random and coincidental occurrences, stop being merely cute coincidences. You recognize them for what they truly are: confirmed coordinates, validations that you are operating in alignment with a higher intelligence, a divine orchestration. You walk into rooms and immediately sense the underlying energy. It is no longer a vague, nebulous feeling. It is a clear and distinct knowing, a visceral understanding. You know instantly whether a space is clean and energetically clear or whether it is compromised and contaminated. You intuitively sense whether a person is genuine and authentic or whether they are being manipulated by unseen forces. Stage 1 is essentially about seeing the underlying code of the matrix, the intricate web of illusion that sustains their control. The Archons deeply fear this stage because invisibility is their primary weapon, their most potent tool. They rely on you not seeing the strings, not recognizing the patterns. The moment you can clearly see the patterns, perceive the underlying energy, and recognize manipulation in real time, you cannot be gaslit anymore. You become immune to their psychological warfare. You are no longer simply guessing whether an attack is happening. You are actively watching it unfold, witnessing their tactics in real time. And conscious observation breaks the fundamental quantum mechanism of their control, shattering the illusion. Stage 2. Emotional sovereignty. Once your eyes are opened, the next significant shift happens in the heart center, the seat of your emotions. Your emotions stop being reactive and volatile. In the old world, when someone verbally, emotionally, or energetically attacked you, you reflexively reacted. You inadvertently fed them the lunch they so desperately craved. Hurt, anger, defensiveness, fear, these were the currencies of their control. But at stage 2, you become an observer. You feel the emotion rising within you. Yes, it is undeniably there. But it no longer controls you. It no longer dictates your actions. You are not suppressing it, burying it deep within. You are not bypassing it, pretending it doesn't exist. You are experiencing it fully, without being ruled by it, without allowing it to consume you. This is true emotional sovereignty. The profound ability to feel fully while maintaining absolute clarity and unwavering presence. And it extends far beyond simply deflecting attacks. Good news does not make you euphoric in a way that destabilizes your grounding, knocking you off balance. Bad news does not crush your spirit, leaving you despondent and defeated. You are steady, unwavering, resilient. You are the mountain, not the wave, unyielding in the face of adversity. This creates a shield, a barrier that the Archons cannot penetrate. Emotional neutrality under intense pressure is their kryptonite. They manipulate you primarily through emotional hooks: fear, guilt, shame, anger, lust. They skillfully trigger these states and then feed on the energy you generate, like vultures circling a wounded animal. But Stage 2 chosen ones do not take the bait. They are immune to their manipulations. The hook passes right through you, leaving you unscathed. They look for the spike on their monitors, the explosion of emotional volatility, but they find only calm presence, unwavering stillness. You have become energetically invisible to their harvest mechanism, rendering their efforts futile. Stage 3, energetic autonomy. This is the crucial threshold where you completely sever your ties to the parasitic exchange system, extracting yourself from their web of deceit. Before this stage, even if you are diligently protected, you are still involved in the give and take of energy, still entangled in their game. You are still managing your battery in relation to others, still reacting to external stimuli. Stage 3 is the profound shift to the star state. You become self-sustaining, a radiant beacon of light. You generate your own energy internally, drawing from an inexhaustible source, not from food, not from sleep, not from external validation, and certainly not from emotional stimulus. You pull energy directly from the monad, the divine source. You filter it through your being, transforming it, and circulate it in a closed toroidal loop, a self-contained ecosystem. You do not need to take from anyone, and no one can take from you. Your field is sealed, not defensively like a fortress, but naturally like a sun. Stars do not need to defend their light. They simply shine, and nothing external can affect their core fusion. That is Stage 3, the embodiment of self-sufficiency. The Archons fear this stage above all others because their entire system is built on the foundations of energy scarcity and harvest. Humans generating energy through suffering and Archons collecting it, perpetuating the cycle of control. But you are off the grid, a free energy device walking among the depleted, a testament to their failing system. You are untraceable in their infrastructure because you no longer need their grid to survive. You have transcended their limitations. Stage 4, timeline navigation. This is where the fundamental physics of your reality begin to bend and warp. For those still operating in linear consciousness, time is perceived as a straight, unwavering line, an unchangeable sequence of events. But at Stage 4, you start perceiving multiple possibilities simultaneously, not as mere flights of fancy or wishful thinking, but as actual, tangible potential timelines that exist in the quantum realm. You stand before a decision, a crucial crossroads in your life, and instead of merely guessing or relying on chance, you see the potential outcomes, not perfectly, but with sufficient clarity to make an informed choice. You sense the frequency of the path to the left and the path to the right, feeling their subtle vibrations. You instinctively feel which one leads to expansion and growth and which one leads back into a loop, repeating the same patterns of suffering. You are not predicting the future. You are actively selecting which future you are collapsing into manifestation, consciously shaping your destiny. This is timeline navigation, the ability to perceive the quantum field of infinite possibility and consciously steer yourself towards the monadic timeline, the path that aligns with your highest purpose. I navigated this way constantly during my time on Earth. I knew when to leave towns before the mobs formed, sensing the rising tide of negativity. I knew which disciples to call, sensing their inherent potential. I knew the precise timeline of my arrest and chose to allow it only when it served the ultimate mission, the greater good. Chosen ones operate in the same way, instinctively navigating the currents of time. The Archons rely on fate, on karma, on destined suffering, the illusion of predetermination. They want you to believe your life is a script written long before you were even born, a story you are powerless to change. But Stage 4 burns the script, obliterating the illusion of control. You are writing your own story in real time, moment by moment. You are unpredictable, and an unpredictable chosen one is the most dangerous thing in a system built on algorithmic control, a wrench in their carefully crafted machine. Stage 5, influence without contact. At this stage, your very existence becomes a weapon of light, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Your presence starts affecting the field around you without you doing anything intentional, without uttering a single word. You walk into a room, and the room changes, subtly shifting its energetic landscape. Not because you tried to change it, but because your frequency is broadcasting a signal that Archons cannot operate through. Arguments de-escalate when you arrive, their energy dissipating in your presence. People who were agitated and distressed suddenly become calm and centered, finding peace in your aura. Archons that were using individuals as puppets lose their grip and flee, their influence waning. Not because you cast them out with some elaborate ritual, but because your field is transmitting the monad frequency, the pure essence of the divine. And that frequency is inherently incompatible with Archon presence. Like oil and water, light and darkness. It is akin to bringing a high-powered light into a dark cellar. You do not need to fight the darkness. Your mere presence makes darkness impossible in that space. Stage 5 chosen ones become walking disruptions to the matrix, living embodiments of resistance. Offices, homes, grocery stores, gatherings, anywhere they go, the Archon influence weakens, their power diminishing. They cannot stop it because it is not a technique they can counter. It is not a ritual they can dispel. It is an emanation, a radiation of pure consciousness. It is who you are, the essence of your being. Stage 6. Direct monad communication. Up until this stage, you have been using techniques to actively access the divine, consciously striving to connect with the source. Meditation, prayer, the monad call, specific practices that create temporary bridges. But at stage 6, the line is always open. The connection becomes constant and unwavering. You are no longer reaching for God. You are living within the stream of divine consciousness, effortlessly flowing with its current. Guidance comes instantly, not as audible voices in your head, but as gnosis or a deep, intuitive knowing. You need information and you simply know it, the answer appearing within you. You face a difficult situation, and the right action is immediately obvious, an instinctive understanding. Not because you logically figured it out with your limited mind, but because the monad is showing you directly, unfiltered, bypassing the noise and confusion of the ego. This is the stage where thought becomes obsolete for high-level decisions. Knowing replaces thinking, intuition triumphs over intellect. You operate from an intelligence that is beyond you, yet also is you, because you are not separate from the monad. You are an extension of it, a localized expression of its infinite wisdom. The Archons fear this stage immensely because they cannot intercept it, cannot corrupt it. They can manipulate thoughts, implant doubts, and jam prayers. But direct monad communication happens at a frequency they do not have the clearance to access, a realm beyond their reach. You are receiving intelligence from beyond their realm, and that makes you virtually impossible to deceive, immune to their lies. Stage 7. Pneumatic resurrection. This is the final threshold, the omega point, the culmination of the journey. The state I myself embodied and demonstrated. The state the Archons fear more than all the others combined. The ultimate expression of divine potential. At stage 7, you recognize fully, not intellectually or as a mere belief system, but experientially, through direct, visceral understanding. You recognize that you are monad consciousness in temporary material form, a divine spark inhabiting a physical vessel. You are not a human with a soul. You are a divine spark wearing a human biosuit, a temporary avatar in this reality. That recognition becomes total, permeating every fiber of your being. Your body of light is permanently active, radiating outwards. You operate simultaneously in both the material and spiritual dimensions, seamlessly bridging the gap between worlds. You are here fully present in the flesh, walking the earth, eating, breathing, but you are also fully aware of your existence beyond the limitations of the flesh, grounded in your eternal nature. Death loses its power completely, no longer holding any fear. Not because you think you are immortal physically, but because you remember you awaken to your true nature. You remember what you are, and what you are does not die. It merely transitions, shedding one form for another. At stage 7, you choose your transitions consciously, actively participating in your own evolution. You are not forced to reincarnate against your will. You are not trapped in the karmic recycling bin, mindlessly repeating the same lessons. If you return to material form, it is because you chose it for a specific mission, not because the Archons manipulated you back with false light and guilt, tricking you into servitude. This is the ultimate freedom. Stage 7 breaks the reincarnation trap, shattering the cycle of amnesia. You are no longer a spark they can recycle through lifetimes of ignorance. You are a fully conscious monad fragment operating in their territory with complete memory of your origin, your power, and your mission. You have become unkillable consciousness, an unstoppable force. There is nothing in the Archon system designed to contain a Stage 7 being. You are what they imprisoned at the beginning, what they sought to suppress. But you have remembered, you have awakened, and you are free permanently. These 7 stages do not happen overnight. Do not rush the sacred timing. Allow the process to unfold naturally. Some chosen ones move through all 7 in a matter of months, their evolution accelerating rapidly. Others take years, diligently integrating each lesson. Some may even take lifetimes, patiently progressing towards enlightenment. But every pneumatic who escapes Archon control will inevitably progress through these stages because this is your natural evolution, the inherent destiny of your soul. This is not something you achieve through force or striving. It is something you remember, something that is already within you, waiting to be revealed. It is something you reveal through surrender and acceptance. The Archons know this, which is why they fight so hard to keep you from even reaching Stage 1, the initial awakening. Because once you start, the momentum of the monad takes over, propelling you forward. You do not need a guru to tell you what stage you are in. You will simply know. If you are seeing patterns others miss, you are in Stage 1, your perception expanding. If emotional attacks do not land anymore, you are in Stage 2, your emotional sovereignty solidified. If you are not drained by energy vampires and feel self-sustaining, you are in Stage 3, your energetic autonomy achieved. If you are making decisions based on future timelines you can feel, you are in Stage 4, navigating the quantum field. If people change around you without you saying a word, you are in Stage 5, influencing the field through your mere presence. If you receive direct guidance that proves accurate consistently, you are in Stage 6, communicating directly with the monad. And if you have recognized fully that you are monad consciousness in a body and nothing threatens that knowing, you are entering Stage 7, embodying the divine. Most chosen ones watching this are between Stages 2 and 4, in the heart of their transformation. That is not a failure. That is exactly where you need to be if you have recently escaped the control grid, a testament to your progress. These stages unfold naturally, like the blossoming of a flower. You do not force the flower to open. You simply water the soil, providing the necessary nourishment. Each stage requires integration before the next one naturally opens. The moment you recognize your current stage, the pressure dissolves, the anxiety fades away. You stop comparing yourself to others, stop feeling inadequate. You realize you are on the path unfolding as you are meant to be. And every stage you complete makes you exponentially more free, bringing you closer to your ultimate destiny. Heed these 3 crucial warnings. First, the Archons attack hardest between the stages, when you are in a liminal space, transitioning from one level of consciousness to the next. When you are transitioning from Stage 2 to 3 or 4 to 5, expect massive resistance. The old attacks will return. The doubts will scream. The temptations will entice. That is not a sign you are failing. That is confirmation you are close to the next threshold, a sign that you are on the right track. Hold the frequency, unwavering in your intent. Do not waver, do not give in. Second, you cannot skip stages. Each builds on the foundation of the previous, creating a solid structure. You cannot navigate timelines if you do not have emotional sovereignty, grounded in your own being. You cannot influence the room if you do not have energetic autonomy, radiating your own light. Respect the progression. Honor the process. Do not try to cheat the evolution, skipping steps in your haste. Third, Stage 7 does not mean you leave the earth immediately, ascending to some ethereal plane. It means you operate here from monad consciousness, fully awake, fully embodied, fully present. You are not escaping the world. You are transforming your experience of it from a prison to a playground of the divine, a realm of endless possibilities. The Church deliberately removed this teaching because if the masses knew that escaping demonic influence was just the start of a transformative journey that ends with you operating as God consciousness in flesh, the pews would be empty, the coffers dry. Religion becomes irrelevant when you have the map to becoming the divine, rendering intermediaries obsolete. You do not need salvation from sin. You need activation of what you already are, the divine spark within. You do not need priests to intercede on your behalf. You need to progress through the stages I mapped out, unlocking your own potential. And once you reach stage 7, the institutions have nothing left to offer you because you have become what they claim to represent. A direct connection to Source, a living embodiment of divine consciousness. That is the true threat. Not that you are free, but that you are awake, a force to be reckoned with. If you are progressing through the 7 stages tonight, take action to anchor this truth within you, solidifying your intent. 3 things must be done. First, take a moment to declare your liberation. In the comments below, boldly proclaim, "I am free," and then share with our community the stage of awakening where you currently find yourself. Are you grounded, finding stability within the foundations of stage 2? Perhaps you're sensing the subtle currents of potential realities, navigating the timelines of stage 4? Or are you just now opening your eyes, blinking in the nascent light of stage 1? Let your fellow travelers, those also chosen for this path, see where you stand. Your honesty, your vulnerability, acts as a beacon, a guiding light for those still navigating the shadowy depths of confusion and seeking direction. Second, ensure you are subscribed to this channel. The journey through these stages is not one to be taken lightly, and it certainly isn't meant to be walked alone. We will be unveiling advanced techniques designed to accelerate your progress, providing you with the keys to unlock your potential and gracefully navigate the perilous thresholds that separate each level of understanding. Consider these codes essential. You simply cannot traverse this path without them. They are the map and compass for your soul's journey. Third, give this video a like. This seemingly simple act serves a far greater purpose. It signals the algorithm, prompting it to seek out other pneumatics, those sparks of divine consciousness scattered across the digital landscape. It helps others discover what lies beyond the veil, what truly happens after escaping the clutches of the Archons, before this vital teaching is once again buried beneath the weight of misinformation and control. Do these 3 things now, in this moment. Then, tonight, find a quiet space, a sanctuary of your own making. Sitting in the stillness of your own silence, take stock and identify the stage you currently occupy. Approach this self-assessment without judgment, without any sense of being behind or inadequate. Simply recognize it, acknowledge it for what it is. If you find yourself at stage 1, celebrate the profound fact that you are seeing what billions of souls remain blind to. Rejoice in the awakening, however small it may seem. If you are at stage 3, acknowledge the burgeoning power of your autonomy, your self-governance, your ability to shape your own reality. Recognize the strength that resides within you. If you are at stage 5, understand and truly believe that you are actively healing the world simply by breathing, by holding the light, by being present in your awakened state. Your very existence is a balm to the wounded world. And if you are entering stage 7, the culmination of this journey, welcome home. You now know with unwavering certainty what you are. You are no longer hoping for enlightenment. You are not simply believing in your divine nature. You know you are monad conscious. You are embodied in your true potential. You are sovereign, a ruler of your own reality. You are irrevocably free. And the Archons? They can no longer touch you, no longer exert their influence over your being. Not because you are hiding from them, shrinking in fear, but because you have transcended their grasp. You have become the light that dissolves them, the very force that unravels their illusions. You are free, and this freedom, this liberation is not the end. It is just the beginning. It is the launching pad for something far greater, a boundless potential waiting to be realized.